Hey out there, this is Buzz with the Survival Buzz. So, food shortages and you, January 16th, 2022. Now, unfortunately, not working in the grocery store anymore, I can't give you guys all the inside information and tips on what I'm seeing on outs and shortages behind the scenes. But I can let you know what I'm seeing in my general area, and you can let me know what you're seeing in your general area. Just let me know down in the comment box. If we keep spreading the information and keep letting each other know what we're seeing, it's going to make it a lot easier to know the outs that are on their way to us. So the overwhelming majority of every place I went, and I probably went a 30-mile radius from my house, probably hit 5 different stores, and pasta was just wiped out across the board everywhere I went. You could get stuff like mac and cheese, noir sides, and stuff like that. There wasn't a lot of variety on those items, but as far as just noodles, like spaghetti noodles, pasta noodles, anything like that, was nearly non-existent everywhere I went. And then chicken was a major one, and I had heard something about a nationwide chicken shortage, and it's obviously apparent, at least where I live. Everywhere I went, they didn't have a lot of variety where, as far as chicken was concerned. They had the whole fryers, they had the big giant value packs of like chicken breast. Anything else, they really didn't have much, and the small packages weren't there. Now, there were a ton of beef items everywhere I went, it seemed like, but the prices are through the roof. So I could almost rack it up to people just don't want to spend the money on that. People are eating a ton more pork and chicken and having trouble keeping up with that supply and demand on those items. But beef seemed all right. Frozen food was a big one, and this was kind of something I was noticing before I left working at the grocery store. You go in the frozen food section and you might have 6 foot of stuff, and then all of a sudden a giant gaping hole for a while, and then more items. So it's kind of hit and miss. It's nothing in particular. It's not like it's pizza or breakfast items. It's just across the board. There's just not a lot there. It's just kind of wiped. Crackers was a big one. There wasn't any variety on crackers, and they were spread out on what they did have. Bread was just wiped out, but it is late Sunday afternoon, so maybe they just got busy and the vendors weren't in to stock the items, so that could be that. Now, as far as fresh produce, everywhere I went, they were out of berries. Berries were just gone. Even organic berries, I didn't see many of those anywhere as well, and normally they always have those. And grapes were a little bare in places. Aside from that, fresh produce, I wasn't really seeing a lot of outs other than like packaged things. Bag salads were wiped out everywhere, but with Dole closing over half their plants that process the bag salads because of listeria, they closed, and as far as I know, that hasn't changed any. So salads were pretty wiped out, and anything in like a hard plastic container, cut fruit, cut veggies, that sort of thing were pretty bare as well. There were holes everywhere. And then I did notice the baking items were pretty much stocked everywhere I went. It seemed like it's been for a long time. What I've been seeing is the baking aisle has been pretty wiped out, but they were pretty stocked up on that sort of thing. The biscuits in several places were just wiped out. And aside from that, there's not really a lot of outs that I've seen, not as far as like gaping holes, but the spread on items is getting larger. My wife even noticed when we were over in the canned food section, like canned diced tomatoes, they would have a section of one brand, one diced tomato, and it would be 4 foot wide, and then they'd move on to the next 4 foot wide spread of the next tomato, and those were only stocked about 2 deep. So large spreads, not a lot of stuff on the shelf is kind of what I was seeing, but as far as massive gaping holes like you see in some of these videos, that's not what I'm seeing at all. But prices are insane right now. It seems like every time I go to the store, it's 10 cents more on an item than it was last time I was there. So that's kind of what I'm seeing in my area. Mainly pasta, mainly chicken, mainly frozen food items, and it's kind of hit and miss everywhere you go, all across the board. One place might have it, the next one doesn't. So I don't know how to rack that up as far as who's getting out and who's not, or if they're just being shopped. I have noticed, at least in my small town, every time I go to Walmart, they are just, crazy packed full of people buying things. But there are things on the shelves to buy. So that's what I'm seeing in my area. You guys let me know what you're seeing in your area down in the comment box, and we can keep spreading the info and keeping everybody informed. So if you like this information and you like my channel and you would like to help support this channel, there are ways to do that down in the description box, and as well as give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you're liking what you hear. That helps me a lot as well, and I will catch you guys on the flip side later.